Hi Pottery peeps. So what I had planned today, I'm not really feeling it. Ever had those days where you know you're supposed to be making this and then it's like day comes and it's like, nah, I don't want to do that. So what I want to do, and this might be a little bit different of a video because it's already almost 1:30, so it's heating up. So I'm probably going to have to turn my AC on. And so this might end up being a voiceover. Anyway, I have one of these and I want to play with it. So let me, actually, I think it's like 20 inches. It is 21 3/4 diameter. Okay. So I know that my kiln, I think it's 22 inches. I think that's the size of one of my shelves. Huh. Am I crazy? I think I might be crazy. So, what I planned to make probably would be easier than this. Maybe we're going to call this my birthday pot since I didn't get to make it. All right. I've had this for a very long time. I think I got it from Minnesota clay or continental clay, one of those. They had those big bats. So I'm going to attempt to make a big platter. I'm going to attempt to cheat at making a big platter. So what I probably will do is just set up the camera and I'm just going to get to work because it's going to take probably some brain power that I just don't have after today's the 5th of July. Last night was 4th of July. We had a big fireworks. Well, we didn't. We just watched the big fireworks celebration. All the people below me lit off fireworks for us. And we just enjoyed it. So, but we were up really late and it's just taken a lot to get going today. So let me get set up and I'll show you how I'm going to cheat at making a big platter. Okay. All right. This actually took me, I had about 90 minutes of footage. So it's a good thing I'm doing a voiceover and speeding it up. So here I am cutting out a piece of newspaper because I've done large platters before. And when I wire them off, I always cut through the middle because the wire comes up. And so I figured this would help me, but it's going to come back to haunt me, as you're going to see. There's a little bit of foreshadowing. I am working with B-mix with sand. Also, when I roll out a slab, especially one this big, I will roll it multiple times and lower it. Each time I lower it down to about a tick above 3/8. So a little thicker because I knew that I would be compressing it also on the wheel. And I still wanted, this is a big platter. It needs to have somewhat of a thick bottom. I'm hoping that I actually left it thick enough. All right, so here I'm putting the newspaper and smoothing it onto the clay so I don't get a lot of wrinkles, and then setting this and cutting off the extra. And now I am wedging up a whole bunch of clay. I actually went through probably more than half this coil is going to give me fits too. I really struggled making this. So it's probably 12 pounds all said and done, but I probably went through maybe 14, 15, maybe even 16 pounds of clay because I had to redo some stuff. So here I'm compressing the slab itself, and look at all those air bubbles. So even though this was straight out of the bag and I didn't wedge it, I just rolled it out. So that tells you that there's air bubbles even in the bag, at least this bag. So you can see now where I'm starting to struggle with the newspaper. So if you try this, and next time I try this, I will do a much smaller circle of paper because I fought this the whole time. So right now I am concentrating on, compressing again, but I'm going to compress that edge in, kind of beef it up a little bit so I can score it and add the coil. And of course, It's almost 100 degrees here today. I did not turn my air conditioning on. My air conditioning is right there by the wheel, so it freezes me out, freezes my legs, so I just powered through. So a lot of wiping of my brow because I'm just sweating like crazy. So I'm pushing it down inside and out, making sure I've got a really good connection. And while I did do really well with the connection, I did not spend enough time centering this coil. I should have, anyway, as you're going to see. I'm making sure that my connection is seamless, so it does look like it was all thrown together as one piece. You can start to see where I've got a wobble in my wall. That's because my walls are not consistent. I've got one side or a third of it that is thinner than the rest. So I try to fix it as I cut off the top because it's not level. And you can see where it's thinner on one side. So then I try to, sometimes I can recenter it, push it back down, but I had it too tall. And so I end up cutting it and pretty much taking it off and starting over. At least with watching all the problems and issues I had, hopefully you won't make these same problems. And I tell you, failure is your best teacher in pottery and life in general. It's always, but here we go. Like, whoo, it was just, that was my day. The whole thing, that was my day. One thing after another. So I'm just going to compress this back down into the slab so that I can add, see, more problems with the newspaper. I'm going to go ahead and score that. I did roll out another coil, and then I flattened the coil with a rolling pin so that hopefully my walls were more consistent. And then I'm going to go back through. This is also less clay than I had before. But I'm going to go back through and press that down really well. And I do spend more time centering it to the slab. Make sure that that is good and centered so I don't have the same issues. Making sure my connection's really good. If I'm going to have cracking, that's where I'll have it. And then I just start to pull up those walls. And about this time I'm wishing I had a blowtorch. Even though it's close to 100 degrees, I could have torched it and kept going. Instead, I left it for 30 minutes and went and had lunch. Okay. That was a little bit more than I had planned on. I learned a lot. I hope you did too. But I'm gonna leave this and let it stiffen up a little bit, and I might come back and just clean it up. But I think I finally got something I can keep. I hope you learned something from this. Gotta laugh. Yeah, I need to try this a couple more times. So much for it being easy. I've seen other potters do it, and it's like, oh, throwing a slab on this? I think I would rather just you know, do a whole bunch of clay. What, 12 pounds of clay? I think I'd rather do that than do the whole slab thing. I think that's an extra step with the coil that was just frustrating. So we're gonna have to try this again with just clay and not the slab thing, not the cheater method. All right, at least you'll have to let me know in the comments if this method has worked for you. Granted, this was my first time trying this, and so far not a fan. Anyway, that's it for me today. Hope you got something out of this, and we will see you next Sunday. Go get muddy. If you're here for the epilogue, this is where it really came together, other than that newspaper again. I do kind of pull those walls up a little bit more, and I end up putting in a foot, because I probably won't be, well, I'm not going to be trimming a foot on this thing. I'm just going to let it dry slow. So I put in a foot so that I can hang a wire, and then it can be put on the wall.